It was beautiful. It looked like Disneyland when you walked in. This was my dream, and it's still my dream. It's kind of a nightmare right now. All I can tell you is that it's been horrendous.
I mean, these structural damages that the storms have caused have been a nightmare for so many people. I mean, take Marlene Ruth, for example. You just saw her store collapse. She is the owner of Ruth Dolls and Memories out in Pollock Pines. And what started out as a crack in the ceiling, it turned into a roof collapse in just 5 seconds. And it's reg tag now because it's obviously not safe to go inside. I mean, Marlene Ruth says that it's just too painful for her to see her collection, which, by the way, she started back in 1965 in this state. And she's invested her entire life into this business and says that it's going to cost a lot of money to fix, and she doesn't know if she'll be able to handle it. And Marlene is not the only one dealing with this problem. The roof of the Dollar General store in Pioneer collapsed last night. The store was deemed a total loss, and a spokesperson for the fire district said that 4 people were in the building at the time. Thankfully, everyone made it out safely and no one was hurt. And these storms, I mean, they're not over yet. People are still preparing for flooding as we head into the weekend. We stopped by Isleton along the Sacramento River, where we met Craig Watson at Vieira's Resort, which they have campgrounds, a mobile home community, and boat launches. Craig stopped to talk with us about the floodgates that he's putting up.
Well, basically, when we start getting high water from the snow melt and, the dams being relatively full, we got our gates up because we never know how much water is going to come into the system from Folsom.
And Justin, tonight evacuations are being ordered for River Road along the Tuolumne River in Modesto between 9th Street and Avon Street. The area is marked in red, and the Tuolumne River, it could flood in Modesto overnight. Of course, make sure you're staying up to date with everything. And then take a look at these pictures from Caltrans up in the Tahoe area. Look at this. You can see how high those snow walls are. I mean, they're taller than the vehicles that are clearing a path for the snow. Carly, these pictures. Yeah. It's actually really hard to imagine.
Right, because you also have to consider when you're looking at those, they have pushed all of that off the roadways and it's piling up. So people are thinking, is that really how much we got? But you have to remember they're piling it up on top of other snow that's been piled up. So, it can be a little bit confusing on how much is out there. But the biggest concern now is all of that rain that is moving on top of that snow. At the lower elevations, around 4,000 feet and below, we are seeing a lot of that water running off into the streams, creeks, rivers, and we are looking at that flooding potential for a lot of neighborhoods there. Take a look at the rain we've gotten since midnight, about a ½ inch from Sacramento to Stockton, 3/4 of an inch in Fairfield, about 1.25 inches in Placerville, 1.3 inches there for Sonora. That number's a little off there as it's getting a little confused with how much rain and snow keeps coming into this area. But you can see at Truckee, about 1/3 of an inch on top of some areas of snowfall. We have been getting a lot warmer temperatures with the atmospheric river moving through. So because of all this rain that's pushing into those creeks, streams, rivers, we are now looking at a lot of the major reservoirs releasing water to make room for this excess water and rain and runoff that's coming off of that snowpack. Shasta, 62% of full right now, 75% in Oroville. Folsom 60%, and Folsom's usually used as a flood control gate, not necessarily to save necessarily all that water, but as a control for the urban areas around it. 30,000 cubic feet per second being released from Folsom, 15,000 Oroville, 3,200 or so for Shasta. This means the rising rivers are expected for areas like Cosumnes, Michigan Bar, McConnell. We're looking at above flood stage potential. We have seen a downgrade now from McCollum and Tuolumne rivers, although we are seeing a lot of water rush through that area. It is being downgraded just briefly, at least for now, as the forecast is supposed to be below flood stage. Of course, we'll talk more about the weather coming our way for the weekend and next week coming up.
All right, thanks, Carly. And as more rain and snow move in, the Oroville Spillway opened for the first time in about, 4 years. But why should people even care? Our Brendan Ritterman tells us why.
If there's an unofficial image that means your drought days are over, you're looking at it. That's the Oroville Spillway. Officials activated it around noon today, and our cameras were rolling when they did. And I have to say, standing at the base of this thing, you get a whole new appreciation for the power of nature. The weight and force of all of the water coming down this spillway was really something to see. Interestingly, this is only the second time this spillway has been used since the 2017 incident where mass evacuations were forced in Butte County because of a failing dam structure. Officials now feel very confident about this spillway. They say they were out here with engineers watching it the last time it was turned on in 2019, and today they're not experiencing any problems with it whatsoever. The reason they're doing all this is to get ready for the massive storm system that has just begun to pummel us, the second real big system of atmospheric river storms. The idea is to make sure Lake Oroville has plenty of room.
The operation of the spillway is intended to keep the lake at a certain elevation so we can hold reserve storage for upcoming storms to provide flood protection.
The water management at play here is really like trying to thread a needle. They're bleeding out Lake Oroville into the Feather River, but they want to make sure that they leave enough room for all the snow melt that's going to be happening in the spring. At the end of it all, water managers do expect to have a full Lake Oroville headed into the summer season, and that is a good sign for everyone. In Butte County, Brandon Rittiman, ABC 10 News.
And remember to download the ABC 10 app. It's free. You can stay up to date with the latest information on weather conditions, road and school closures, and you can also upload your photos and videos so we can see exactly what's happening in your neighborhood.